How have things been with how have your relationships been? How are you guys how are things with I don't know. It sounds strange to be like, "Ooh, how are things with your wife going?" But
it's the good. It's this is really stressful. It's really hard. There's no peace when you're in the criminal justice system. There is none until you're out of it and out of it. Like there's the out of it, like, oh, you're past your charges or whatever, and then there's the out of it as in any sort of probation or whatever that you have to do is done. So it's constant stress. You are in this community, and there's a stigma attached to you because of the charges, and that's just something you have to deal with. But other than that, I mean, it's good. She doesn't really like being like on the internet. Like she doesn't really want to deal with that shit. So
like being
people
talked about or just like the mug shot?
no, like she doesn't like people have asked why they haven't seen her, like why I haven't pulled her onto a live stream. It's like, well, she doesn't really want to be on a live stream. Like she doesn't want to be in a video.
She was never a live stream person, right? I mean, she'd come to like anime, she'd come to a couple events, but
yeah, and she'd been on a couple like she'd come on the stream a couple times throughout the years, but not often. But like right now it's mostly just she'd prefer her privacy as much as possible. But other than that, like you just go through every day and it's like, well, what are we doing today? Is there anything we have to do for the state in regards to getting the kids or to working on something? And there's always something that you have to do. And it's like some piece of paperwork that you have to sign or some, like we have to do random drug testing. So it's like you wake up every morning and have to put your fucking info into a website or call a phone number and they tell you if you test or not. Didn't have to test today. Yay. But it's like, you may have to. And then that really throws a monkey wrench in doing much of anything, because if you're going to be gone, you have to find a place where there's a test that you can get to if you have to test, like a testing center or whatever that's close enough that you can get into. So you can't really go on vacation. You can't like go on a trip. You're just kind of stuck mostly around your house. And so then it's the other thing is, do we have a visit? Like with the kids, obviously that kind of dominates our day, rightly so. But other than that, it's just like getting things ready for the kids to come back home.
I was going to say before, because you guys live in do you guys live in like a small town? Because that's why I asked about how things are going with Kayla. It's not like you guys could go do a date night, right? Because when people would see you, I feel like you've become a little bit of like a town spectacle. Do you feel like people are kind of like watching your every move?
It's weird because you never know. And yes, people do watch like I'll hear about it. I'll hear about where I went, for example, like from a friend, which is awkward. But the problem is you never know. Like it's like, when you walk into a restaurant and the people who are like by the door, they like turn and look just because there's movement or whatever. And then you go, wait, are they like looking for a while? Like, did they read about us in the paper? Did they see a picture? And you just have no idea. That part of it kind of really sucks. Like, cause it puts you on edge. Cause you just never know if someone's really like, if they know what's going on or if they just think you're like fat or something. Like, well, that's a stupid shirt. And they just are looking for a while. But, it's, that part of it's just, it's awkward. So it makes you not want to really go out as much. And of course you can't like, this is another fun artifact of the internet. People are like, I can't believe that Nick Rekieta went out and did stuff while the state has his kids. Like, well, you still have to live. And there's only so many hours of the day that you can devote to doing things for to get your kids back. Like there's not a thing to do most of the time. So it's like, well, do you go out to eat? Like, well, yeah, I mean, you have to eat at some point.
Yeah, you've already said you prioritized anything you have to do for the legal stuff, and you prioritize anything you have to do for getting your kids back. So with the rest of your time, you're gonna go get a tattoo or something.
oh, you're gonna bring up the tattoos. See,
only because it's in the super chat.
So the tattoo, well, I got my snake tattoo filled in. Okay.
Oh,
so it
all
was
right. We're gonna solo layout this.
yeah, so it was
Wow, look at that bad boy.
it goes
Wow.
all the way up here, but no, it's I've been waiting for the tattoo artist who started. Okay, now I'm too
Okay,
big.
hold
Okay,
on.
let me back. That was
I-
uncomfortable.
I
But
just want to leave it up a little too long.
But no, like the artist in January had sketched out the snake, and then he's coming back in July. So I knew that he was coming back and had made an appointment a long fucking time ago to get this to get the rest of the snake done. So like that was just a product of timing. People are like, can't believe they're going out to a tattoo convention. It's like, well, I mean, again, we've done everything we can do up to that point. Like you still have the rest of your life to live. Like you still have to go do stuff. So that's just how it is. Now,
Did you get him? Yeah, Nathan is asking if you got matching tattoos with April.
no.
No, you didn't get
No.
matching tattoos?
We didn't get matching tattoos. No, my wife got a tattoo. April got a tattoo. I got my tattoo filled in. It's a tattoo convention. You go, you find artists, they have time, and you can get stuff done. So
okay.
We all went to the convention. We went because I was getting the snake filled in. That was the main purpose. And then it's like you find an artist that you like and you have an idea and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But no, they're not matching tattoos. They're all very different.
Okay. Another rumor dispelled.
I guess. Is it a rumor that they're matching tattoos?
Yes, I've heard.
I don't have wolves on my forearm, guys. Like it's not the same thing.
All got matching tats. And
no,
I have no tattoos. So that is the ultimate commitment for me. Like marriage, that's a big deal, but a tattoo is forever.
Jesus. That was depressing.
So are you guys, all three of you are kind of just like really hanging out most of the time as much as before?
Yeah, April lives really close by. We hang out a lot. I don't know. We're still friends. There's a weird thing that happens when you go through something like this with someone else. Like it's simultaneously extremely stressful, but also like it's a safe person to hang around. Because
is it like trauma bonding?
Maybe, but like, okay, so like you can't just sit around talking about your lawsuit with people unless they're also like in the same boat. So it makes it convenient because you don't have to like worry so much about what you say. You don't have to have like is this going to get like recorded and put back somewhere or whatever? Like you don't have to have those concerns. You could just be, which is a really nice thing. And unfortunately, like some of the people and would normally talk to, they develop opinions too. And you don't have time to dispel everything. So that stigma that sits around, it kind of in a way pushes people close together, but it also does make it really stressful. Like it's not always fun. People are in bad moods a lot because, oh, hey, there's a felony charge waiting for you at the end of the month or something. And so you're like, you're there, but yeah, like we hang out and I don't know, just try and live.
Is there other moments where like people are blaming each other, or is there kind of like a collective, like, all right, we're all kind of sharing this together?
That's a weird question to answer because like the answer to it could imply like some sort of like admission of guilt. No, though, not really. Like you're just there and you have this looming thing, blaming anyone or anything, trying to do that. Just, I don't think that's really in anyone's sort of vocabulary. Well, anyone around here. I mean, there's certainly other people who blame all sorts of people for all sorts of things, but
do you think when this is all over, would you consider, because I'm thinking, I don't know, I've never lived in a small town, but I'm just imagining what this would like would you guys consider like moving to get away from?
It's hard to say because, you know, the likely outcomes of our case, even in situations where if we're found guilty, for example, the likely outcomes of our case involve a strong potential to have no jail time at all. People misunderstand that too. There are statutes in Minnesota that first time drug charges, as long as they're not sales charges, there are deferment programs. There are things to do to kind of avoid jail, but you end up on a probation period, and that period can be a long time. So without knowing how long you might be required to remain in the state, it's hard to consider, do you move within the state? You can't move out of the state, or maybe you can. Maybe we just go ahead and win our case and we're out from under the state's thumb entirely, and then you can move wherever. But until you kind of figure out what timeline you're on, it's hard to make any sort of decisions or even have good discussion about it. Cause like, well, I don't know. We live out here because family's out here.
Right.
So it's like, if you move, you leave family, and that's tough.
Yeah. From Derek C, is the pleasure you experience from living a hedonistic lifestyle worth all the trouble?
Well, I don't know. You have to live a hedonistic lifestyle and tell me about the pleasure you experience and decide if it was worth it.
I think he means, dabbling outside your marriage.
Dabbling outside my marriage. Again, there are a lot of assumptions and presumptions that people have about relationships, about activities, and about like things people do or get into. And the internet is really great at taking bits of information and making sensational stories about them. But, really, I don't know. I don't know what a hedonistic lifestyle is, like at what point you tip into a hedonistic lifestyle. Have I engaged in various hedonistic activities? Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think all people do to some degree. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying like, well, it's the same as putting too much butter on your popcorn. Like, no, it's like
that I do.
You got to stop that, Chrissy. We talked about this earlier. You got your
like
wardrobe
greasy to the point. Like I want to feel like 2 inches of grease at the bottom of that's how the Alamo Draft.
You want to see through the bag. Like you want to see the popcorn transparent. But it's like, no, I mean, I'm sure I've done things that are crazier than lots of people. Like I'm sure, but like at what point does it tip in to that? I have no idea. So it's like, people have different opinions on that. Here's what I'll say. Worth all the trouble. Is life ever worth all the trouble? That's a decision a lot of people make every day, and some people make it in a negative way.
And you don't have an alternate like universe of you don't know how your life would have gone had this all not happened back in May. Like you don't.
No,
there's a world where this doesn't like happen, so you don't know what to compare it to.
Right. You only have the experience that you have. And that's something that everybody, that was actually a huge comfort for me a long time ago. And I'm talking like 18, 19 years ago, 17, might've been 17 years ago. But I lived in the Twin Cities and had been through some employment issues, but I'd gotten to like a really like a good job that I really liked and was paying me really well. And I kind of looked back on the random like shitty employment I'd gone through. And I go, well, I literally wouldn't be here without this that happened. Like this stuff happened. Like I spent a year at Wells Fargo and that was like the worst year ever. This one's rivaling it, but that year just fucking sucked. And it's like, but because of the connections I made at Wells Fargo, I was able to move on to the next job, which is actually a really good job that I really enjoyed with good people. And I had a lot of good time at that job. And so it's like, well, if I hadn't gone through this shitty part, I wouldn't be here. And I don't know what it would have been like. Maybe I would have had a way better job, or maybe I would have been homeless. I don't know. So you can't like sit and dwell on.
And maybe and maybe like the going outside your marriage thing, this could have all still happened even regardless of going outside of your marriage. So
yeah, again, the going outside of the marriage thing is just it's such a complicated topic, because I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what happened at Nick Rekieta. And like that's fine. It's not I'm not inclined to talk about it, and people get to have their own perceptions, I guess, but they're always just going to be their perceptions.
This one is about the tattoo from Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Also, Nick, I saw the pics of you getting tattoos with your mistress. Again, they were not matching tattoos. It sucks that you spend time with April while Kayla is. No, I think you were all there. You said you were all there at the tattoo.
Yeah, we were all at the tattoo convention together. It's great. See, people, again, this is misconception thing. Like, people believe that there's some sort of mistress thing going on, and it's like, we're all friends. Like, Kayla and I are married, and April is our friend, and our friend. Like, April and Kayla have their own friendship.
So there's no more like hooking up happening.
People are like, well, people think that like there's that's a loaded question. Like, because that presumes something was going on prior. That, again, like, I'm not inclined to talk about any of this stuff in that way, because it's not out there for people. But what people need to know is that there's like, we are spotted out in public together because we are all like friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's so like these labels that people try to use, or I guess concepts that get loaded into those labels, are often what drive like their opinions about things. But again, without a grasp of the factual scenario, people are left to make their assumptions, and I'm not inclined to correct them. Doesn't really matter to me. But it's people should understand that, like, if you say, like you were mentioning earlier, like dabbling outside of your marriage, it's like, well, that assumes a whole lot of variables that aren't true. And so it's like, I don't know. We all hang out. We're all friends. We're stuck in life together in this weird way where we're in limbo because of the state, and the internet gets to just use us as their punching bag, and that's fine. Like, at some level, that's what I signed up for, is to be in the public eye.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's a lot of personal information is getting out that you may not have necessarily ever wanted to talk about. Like, I'm sure it's not, nobody wants to talk about their adult sexual relations. So I can see why that's uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of falsehoods that are out there too, that you just really, like, again, being hampered by the fact that you have a pending criminal matter, you can't address them, and you can't address the people who spread them sometimes. So,
anime. I think, are you still sleeping with April? Yes or no?
Am I still sleeping with April? Wow.
That assumes that they were sleeping together.
It's a lot of assumptions there. Again, the nature of my sleeping arrangements are confusing even to me. Sometimes I'm on a couch.
This might not be something you can talk about. It's common knowledge that you stole Aaron's wife and cucked him beyond all recognition. Is there any truth to the story that your wife, Kayla, was his soulmate? I'll hang up and listen.
As stated by me several million times, Aaron is his own man. He can say whatever he wants. I hope he makes $1 million. I'm not talking about him or anything he has said or claimed. There's several reasons for that should be pretty obvious to people, but I'm not going to get into any of the claims of April Imholte.
We will not be talking about Aaron. Hold on. Mark of
I
Reality.
just can't, guys. Sorry.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.